Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and welcome back to IICT, otherwise known as Istiqlal Islamic Center of Toronto. It's Sunday morning, and it's my honor and privilege to introduce you guys to a student of ours here, and that is none other than my good friend Razka, who is sitting here beside me. As you can see, he's dressed for the occasion, wearing white with a beautiful hat. He's ready to go. Our goal, inshallah, today and in future programs like this is to introduce you folks at home and the wider community that is watching to some of the youth here at IICT and give them a chance to speak and to share with you guys some of their experiences growing up as Muslim Canadians and as members of the Indonesian Muslim community. Alhamdulillah, we have many young people in our community who are doing very well. Some of them have memorized the Quran. Others, like Razka, are currently memorizing the Quran. And we want to give them an opportunity to share their thoughts and to share their story with the wider community, hoping that it can hopefully inspire many of you that are watching and that are listening, whether here in Canada or in Indonesia or anywhere else across the world. At this time, I want to take an opportunity to ask Razka to tell us a little bit about himself. How old are you? Where are you learning Quran currently? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Rudiawan. I'm 10 years old. I'm currently reading the Quran. The school I go to is like Makki Masjid or Brampton. I'm currently done 4 juz.
MashaAllah. 4 juz of the Quran that you have currently memorized. And it's my understanding that within the next 2 years you're planning to complete your hifd, inshallah?
Yes, that's correct.
Inshallah. So hopefully before you turn 12 years old, we will be able to introduce Razka again as Hafiz Razka. That is our plan, inshallah. Tell us a little bit about your life outside of school. Obviously, you go to school full time where you memorize the Quran and you do your academic studies as well.
Yeah.
What hobbies do you have outside of the masjid and outside of school?
Outside of the masjid? Maybe like karting, like go-karting.
Go-karting?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I've heard that you raced in a go-karting league recently and you got a trophy. Why don't you tell our friends at home a little bit about that experience, how it went, what place you finished, and what was your overall feeling about the league?
So overall feeling, I was like genuinely nervous. Like genuinely nervous. Like your heart like beep beep, like how do I say it, like bumping,
Yes.
I got like scared, since like everybody here is like a pro.
Okay.
I'm still a rookie there, But then I just got the hang of it, just followed everybody, and then boom, I got 3rd place.
3rd place, mashallah.
Yeah.
Out of how many racers?
15.
Out of 15. 3rd place out of 15. And they gave you a nice trophy, I heard, for it?
Yeah, nice.
Mashallah. And
Nice
this was your first time racing professionally in a league?
Yeah,
Cool. So the end goal is
Formula 1.
Formula 1. But half with Razka at Formula 1. Good publicity for IICT, I would think. We can do fundraising at Formula 1. We'll leave that aside, discuss that later. But no, this is very good, mashallah. I'm happy to hear that you have your own hobbies outside of the masjid and outside of studying. Of course, education and schooling is priority for a young man like Razka, but he has to obviously enjoy himself and have fun, just like the rest of us do as well. For other kids that are watching, and whether they're in Canada or abroad, back home in Indonesia or anywhere else, what are some of the challenges that you faced memorizing the Quran so far? Is it something you found difficult?
Not really though. Just like watch out for some old mistakes, Old mistakes. If you keep pausing, then yeah.
Okay. But it's something you feel is going smoothly, and when the time comes you will finish, inshallah? Inshallah. I'm happy to hear that, and it's a good piece of encouragement for all of you who are watching at home as well. If you have children yourself, or if you are a young boy or a young girl, here we have a student who's 10 years old saying that he finds memorizing the Quran pretty straightforward. As long as you do your job and you focus on learning your new lesson, make sure you correct old mistakes, you should eventually progress and move along. I want to take a moment to ask you a favor. Obviously, we have many people who will be watching back home in Indonesia. You have visited Indonesia before, as far as I understand. Can you take a few moments in the Bahasa language to explain to our friends what your experience was like when you visited Indonesia?
Okay.
No problem.
Bapak-bapak, ibu-ibu, aku namanya Razka. Aku dulu pernah tinggal di Indonesia buat 3 months, I guess, I forgot. Terus 3 months begitu, sebelum COVID, kita balik lagi ke Kanada. Terus iya, kita had fun di Indonesia. Kita tadi ke hotel, that hotel was fun, bro. Dan kita tadi ke Kanada, balik lagi quarantine, udah pas.
So this was recently that you went back to Indonesia, a couple of years ago?
Yeah, it was like 2020.
2020. And you said during the pandemic?
Like
Just before?
Yeah, like before the pandemic, that's when we were going back to Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Inshallah. Are you looking forward to potentially going back to Indonesia to visit again?
Yeah, maybe.
Is it something you would recommend to me? Like, I've never been to Indonesia. Should I go and check it out?
Yes.
I'll go with you. You can be my tour guide, inshallah. Why not? But thank you very much for sharing that. Hopefully it's a positive experience you had in your life, and I'm sure, inshallah, in the future you would go back there again. We don't want to take too much time this morning. For those of you who are watching at home, we are in Toronto, Canada on a Sunday morning. We just prayed Salat al-Fajr in the masjid, alhamdulillah. It was snowing last night, so we have a lot of snow outside. It's really cold. Razka came to the masjid all bundled up like a Canadian superhero just to make it on time so we can pray Fajr together and so we can have this session and we can share some information with you guys. I want to take the opportunity before we wrap up. I'm going to ask Razka to recite whatever he likes from the Quran, and hopefully you guys will enjoy his recitation as well, and then we can conclude, inshallah. Go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون والله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم والله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون والله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khair, Razka, for that beautiful recitation of the Quran. And thank you very much for your time this morning. On behalf of IICT, the community, the management, and myself, we appreciate you taking the time to spend a few moments this morning with us. And we look forward to seeing you again next weekend. For those of you who are watching at home, enjoy the week ahead. May Allah bless all of you. And we'll see you guys next weekend. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.